Well, for the first time in 4 years, the Grand Rapids Griffins headed back to the playoffs. I know it's not exactly how you wanted to get in with what's happened on the homestand so far, Jeff, but obviously congratulations, and it's been a long time coming. Well,
I think it's great to get in, and when you start the season, you want to earn points, and you just keep trying to work to earn points throughout the year, and the ones at the beginning of the year are as important as the ones at the end of the year, and that's certainly paid true right now. And we haven't had as good a homestand as we wanted, but other teams are really fighting hard for points. Everybody's scrapping hard, and again, we're certainly happy to be in and be involved in it. Now we just got to see how high a seed we can get.
What's that last week been like? You finally come home after all these games on the road, a chance to clinch it at home with a win in regulation, and then these 3 straight losses. Is it a little frustrating not to do it on home ice?
Well, I think it's frustrating for everybody when you go and you lose 3 games. You know, one of them is in overtime, but anytime you lose 3 games at home, it's frustrating. We were playing really good hockey coming back, but it is a hard trip, and that's not an excuse, it's reality. And you know, we thought of ways that we felt would help us be prepared, and I think we were prepared. I don't think we've been that far off, but again, Chicago, Milwaukee, boy, they're fighting hard for points. They were tough opponents, and the other last night against Peoria just didn't seem to have it quite there. But again, at least we got a point last night, and we earned enough points to be a Calder Cup playoff team, and now we have to pick our game up here through the week and get ready for another weekend.
We've all learned at any level, you win and get in. That's all that really matters. If you can get in, anything can happen. Talk about the importance, though, of perhaps if you can win Friday, and I know some depends on what happens Tuesday night with Chicago and Rockford, but if you can win to win the division and get a top 3 seed, how important that would be?
Well, I think for the organization, to get a division title is important. I think for the team, it means you left some type of stamp, and I think that's always important for an organization. So we certainly would like to do that. I think just as importantly, we want to be playing very good hockey, and we need to make sure our attention to detail is real good. You always strive to get the highest seed possible. Now, in the American League, you don't know for sure what that means, because you don't know what the parent clubs of each team are going to either take up or send down. So I think the most important thing is just approach every day to play as good as you can, and then prepare for whatever comes at you.
And as you prepare for anything that comes at you, is there one team out there specifically that you'd like to face in the first round just to kind of get your feet wet in the playoffs?
If there was, I wouldn't say it. but honestly, no. I think the parity in the league, it's like the NHL. The teams are so close. There's going to be some real good teams not make the playoffs. I know that for sure, and I know the teams that we'll face are real good. And you know, when you've had success against some teams, you might feel good about it, but then I think maybe there's a numbers game involved in that might mean it could be tougher to continue to beat them. You know, we found that, I think, with Chicago on Wednesday. So all the teams are going to be real tough. We just need to make sure and take care of our own business.
You alluded to it earlier, a team like Oklahoma City, if Edmonton doesn't make it, totally changes if they come back in.
Yeah, correct. And that's the part about the American League you don't know. And then on the reverse of that, if certain teams make it and they pull up guys, every team's got a little different philosophy. So we can't focus too much on who our opponent's going to be. I think, again, you want to win a division title and you want to play your best hockey every night. And so we're going to go into Friday night doing everything we can to win the hockey game.
So I know all year you've kind of talked about depth. Is that what makes this team really a team that could make a run in the Calder Cup race?
Well, I think so. I think depth, when you have depth at every position, that allows for if there is injuries, knock on wood, that we hope there isn't, but if there is, guys can fill into spots. But it also allows when a guy goes into a little bit of a slump in the playoffs, somebody else can score. And I think we've had lots of depth of scoring throughout the season. You know, a guy like Jeff Hogan's right in that 20-goal range, and he hasn't spent much time on the power play. Landon Farrell's got 20-plus goals. We got multiple guys with lots of goals, and I think that's a real important thing. Because you never know who's going to be the guy needed, and when you face good teams, they have real good players too, and sometimes the best players on each team wash each other out, and you need a depth guy to score.
20 goal scorers, by the way, folks, are 4 20-goal scorers, 11 guys in double figures. Guy that I saw Wednesday night and the home folks saw for the first time, I know you won't be able to keep him, but you can explain that better than I can, but Callie Yarnkirk, what an impressive player he was.
Yeah, Callie did a real good job. He's somebody that I think there's a lot of hype, I would say, and deservedly so about him within the organization and within those that follow Red Wing hockey. He's somebody that's going to be a real good player. Now, he does need to improve his strength, and you know, I think that's going to mean some time at some point playing here for us. But I think over the 9-game period, it gave him a good idea what he needs to get better at. It gave the organization a good idea that, hey, we got a real good player. He's a very smart hockey player. He's got real good hockey sense. Now he just needs to continue to get stronger. He's got to go back and play for Sweden as part of the agreement so he can play for his World Championship team, and I think that's great to be able to let a young guy go play for his country.
Now, Coach, we've had you on a couple times here. We had you in the beginning of the season when you first started here, midway through. Now kind of towards the end, assess this team. Are they where you wanted them to be or where you thought they would be when you first came in here to Sports Overtime?
Well, yeah, the beginning of the year, and I think I told you, I just didn't know. I didn't know what type of expectation to have. It was real similar, I think, to when I went in at Western Michigan, and I just didn't know what to expect. And the one thing I thought right away is we've got great character. We had great leadership right away, really character throughout. The young guys seem to really have good character, and that's really shown as well. Our depth and our character, I think, have carried us through the year. So as we got going, I thought this could be a real good team, and I think internally we think we can do real special things once we get into the playoffs. Now we just got to make sure, everybody, there's other teams that think that too, and now you got to make sure your attention to detail is right on, and we're going to go to work at that tomorrow.
Yeah, that depth, the character's really shown with all the road games the Griffins have been playing. Hey, one last question. Obviously, Danny DeKeyser's just had really a fabulous start with the Red Wings. You coached him at Western. Your impressions on a kid that's been able to jump right in from going from Western to the Wings and sit guys out who are with some healthy scratches, pretty good names with an Ian White or even with Smith.
Yeah, Brendan Smith and Ian White are both real good players, and I think that speaks to how well Danny's played since he's been in. To jump from college right to the NHL, not only at the beginning of the year is one thing, but at the end of the year in the playoff time is real hard. So Danny's a real good player. He skates. He's got NHL skating ability, and he plays a real efficient, simple game. And I think that's the type of game that's real effective at the NHL level and effective come this time of year when you need to get as many points as possible. So good for Danny, good for Western Michigan. I think it's a great thing.
They do need those points. So.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Coach, thanks for coming in. You got great experience in the postseason with Western, with the Red Wings, and we'll see some great experience with the Griffins in the upcoming Calder playoffs.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.